Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold. We read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. And boy, it's been a heavy couple weeks, right? A lot of intensity, especially around the Michelle Owens case. Dude, I don't know. So the good news is we're diving into the energy behind these 14 felonies. She's got 14 felony charges. And what her astrology and some cards that I pulled reveal about what's coming from now, November, through around June 2026. Because, let's be honest, I'm curious. And I know that this case isn't just about law, it's about power, illusion, and accountability. So we'll talk about whether her trial will actually happen in January and why she's been able to manipulate the system for so long, and what the energy says when justice finally catches up. And now, just to let you know, I'm a psychic. These are my opinions. I'm just curious about energy and all these good things. So I dabble in astrology. I know just enough to be a little bit dangerous, but I was curious. So I put, I wanted to look at her chart, and I pulled some cards. Anyway. So let's talk about what we know about the four victims. There's probably more, but these are the four that are central to this energy, I believe. And the first man, we know his name, but we're not talking about him right now because he does not want to come forward. He'd like to maintain his privacy, but I have a feeling that he might step forward publicly. So let's keep an eye on that. And then we have Mike Maricini, who's was her ex, and he faced a permanent DVRO filing in San Francisco in this last few weeks. That was finally dismissed. Thank God. And then we have Greg, who the second set of felony charges we believe are tied to her. The story is that he had about 3 dates with her and decided he wasn't into it. And of course, on our girl Laura, she could not handle that, so she fabricated, allegedly, a pregnancy and documents leading to what, right now, that's what we believe is the second felony charges have stemmed from. So, interesting stuff. And I'm really happy about that because I feel like Greg it's his time for justice. And we will cover a little bit more about him a little bit later. I'm trying to be a little bit sensitive to him right now because I think, like when somebody has been traumatized by this chick, you want to be really sensitive around them, right? All right, so then we have Clayton Echard, the former Bachelor star who won his civil case after proving she faked pregnancy. And, that's where the first felony charges stem from. And if you haven't heard Laura Knighty's YouTube episode with him, it was fabulous. Kudos to Lauren for making that episode feel like, for me, just like, just sitting with a couple friends and hearing the story. And it warmed my heart to see how light and very handsome Clayton is. And, I'm just excited for his future. All right, so I did a little bit of reading on him earlier on what's next for him. So, go check that out if you're at all interested, because I think good things are coming. Lots of good things. Okay. And he's a dancer, and I love anybody who dances and shakes off the energy. So that brings us to 14, count them, 14 felony charges. Lord Jesus. I'm like, oh my word. And you would think this woman would be like, yeah, maybe I should stop this BS, but not our girl. Oh my gosh. She has this pattern of manipulation, deception, and control. And this is all in her energy. This is all her blueprint. And I find it fascinating because a lot of us have said, we can't wrap our head around like why she does this stuff, right? So we also there's also been just curiosity around why she's able to use or weaponize the legal system itself. And you know what? It's a part of her chart. It practically shouts, screams this behavior. Interesting, right? So, you know what? I'm going to use a little astrology terms. You may or may not understand it, but I'm going to try to put it in simple terms that we can understand. So she has a Capricorn stellium, which means that she has several planets clustered in Capricorn. Now, I'm a Capricorn rising, so that energy, when it's shadowed, becomes obsessed with control and reputation and authority. And it's the archetype of someone who says, if I can't win emotionally, I will win procedurally. I'm into procedures and processes. That's what I do in my day job. Okay, so anyway, All right, paired with her Leo ascendant. Again, I got some Leo. It thrives on visibility and validation. And we see how the courtroom becomes a place to reassert power through performance. Like, this is a woman who knows how to use the legal system. Now, her moon in Capricorn adds to that pattern, and emotionally detached, strategic, and transactional. And she's got Neptune and Pluto woven through her chart. And she's drawn to illusion, power dynamics, and manipulation. And it's textbook bureaucratic narcissism, using rules, filings, and legal processes to create drama, delay, and control. It's like this girl has no shame. And it's mind-blowing to me because I'm somebody that follows the rules. I have a daughter that follows the rules, and at one point we're like, just break a rule, an easy one, just break a one, But I digress. But here's what's changing, okay? So I asked the question, what might occur between now, today's November 11th, and so this is a great day to manifest, FYI. So take a moment today and write down some of the things that you would like to see in your life. All right, but what's coming through here is, and through like March, that kind of stuff, like I wanted to know like the next 6 to 8 months about Laura, like what's happening astrologically for all of us, but yet in her chart specifically. So from November through March, there's Saturn in Pisces, and that's crossing the part of her chart that rules institutions and karma, dissolving the illusions that once worked in her favor. The universe is now saying the performance is over. So what we're already seeing this happening, right? We're seeing judges and prosecutors starting to see through her tactics, and systems that once gave her attention will now enforce boundaries. So, Laura, if you're listening, buckle in, sister. You're going to be held accountable. Now, by spring 2026, Pluto enters Aquarius, and that's shifting from ego-driven power to collective accountability. When that energy flips, the systems she manipulated will start reflecting her back herself. So it'll start seeing her, very clearly. Now, I also was curious because these men are now talking publicly. Mike Miracini feels free to talk about his experiences, as well as Clayton. So I was like wondering, will she manipulate the system again and try for another DVR? And, the karmic machinery is already in motion, but the cosmic message is clear. Her ability to manipulate through paperwork and procedures coming to an end. So we can all rest a little bit easier, but, could she try to file another domestic violence restraining order And astrologically says, yeah, she probably will try because it's a familiar move, and her chart shows someone who craves control when losing power. So we'll see. I've heard that, she's filing bar complaints. It's just like, okay, come on. But, this time it won't land the same way because Saturn is dissolving illusions and her past filings already discredited. So any new filing DVRO attempt will feel like an act of desperation, and it's the ego's last attempt to flip the narrative before the truth finally takes hold. So I don't feel like it will hold any water, any energy against Mike. It's just kind of like what she does, okay? So let's talk about what's beneath all of this. Now, she has a Taurus sun, and so she desires comfort, predictability, and control of the narrative. Her Capricorn stellium that we just talked about is status-obsessed, image-focused, power-driven when shadowed. And her Leo rising demands attention. It thrives in drama. So all of this, and we've already kind of picked up on that. If you sat there and you said, this chick just thrives on this. She doesn't care what kind of drama it is, positive or negative. She thrives there. Her Pluto and Neptune creates illusion and secrecy. She's like personified this. Like, this is her. And her North Node points towards Aquarius, and that the soul lesson of authenticity and service to truth is what that means. But she's on the exact opposite path, self-serving deception. Watching her videos, her raid videos, like one of the things that caught my attention, well, there's a lot, but one of the things that caught my attention is when the officer asked her if she wanted to be put in cuffs, and she's like, yeah, that's what I want. Like, she stopped her drama to be very contained and said that. It was just like, she knew she was on stage. Anyway, so I pulled some cards because I love my cards. And whip, sun, tree, and mountain. Those are the 4 I pulled for this. So the whip is repeated conflict, courtroom cycles, hearings revisited. The sun is exposure, light on the lies. The tree, slow but lasting growth. Truth takes root. And we've seen it's just taken so much time. Mountain, the obstacles, delays, bureaucracy. And the universe is saying it takes time, but every obstacle ensures nothing's hidden. So we all have to be patient as this unfolds, which kind of sucks because we want to see her held accountable, right? So I asked, will her trial actually happen in January? And I looked at the energy, and Saturn is in Pisces governing timing, and it's the planet. Hold on. It's the planet of karmic accountability, but Saturn moves slowly. It delays progress until every truth is revealed. So if there are delays, which I think there will be, it's because more is coming, okay? So Jupiter is also expanding in her emotional house in Cancer, meaning more exposure, more filings, more public emotion before it's resolved. So this public pressure has brought this on, and this is great. We've all stepped up. Anybody who's put the pressure on, anybody who's still focused on this justice for these victims, we are all a part of this soul contract to make sure that the truth comes to light. Now, remember, she's got her Capricorn planets under Pluto's pressure, and you get a drawn-out reckoning. And the card confirms that this is whip, repetition, and tree, patience, and mountains, delay. So, yeah, the energy points to delay. There'll be motions, continuances, or even new evidence that could easily push this beyond January. So I'm expecting March to May as the real window for transformation and closure on this. So this is how the energy might unfold from now till January, more public attention. We're already seeing that different outlets are covering this and the eyes are on this. Emotional testimony, so more truth will be surfacing. Maybe that first victim or other victims will have the courage now to come forward and say, this is my duty to make sure that the nail is, really put into this coffin, so to speak. January through March, this is the mountain phase, and we will see some legal slowdowns, obstacles, procedural battles, because you know what? If she has a good attorney or the attorney that is representing her is any good, will continue to find those ways around some of this, right? They're doing their job, right? So April through June, the tree phase, deep-rooted truths, accountability, and closure. So justice will come, but slowly and in layers, and every delay is part of exposing the full truth. Now, here's the deeper story. It's not just about the courtroom, it's about karmic, reckoning, right? Laura's chart is the archetype of control meeting consequence. The whip and sun energy is divine repetition until truth is undeniable. And for the victims, this period feels validating, like the cosmos aligning with the justice system at last. And for all of us watching, it's a reminder. The illusion always collapses. Eventually, power built on deceit meets force, and it's greater than itself, and it's called truth. So will justice be delayed? Maybe, but not denied. Absolutely not denied. And the universe is making sure that every layer of this deception is revealed before the final verdict is written. So I'll keep tracking the energetic patterns around this case, and as new filings, dates, or revelations come forward, I'll be here with the intuitive scoop on what's really going on behind the headlines. So if you like this kind of material, like and subscribe, share with friends. I'm loving the fact that I have all the subscribers who have been interested in this. So thank you for supporting my work from the bottom of my heart. And I mean this because it really does validate the work that I'm trying to do and bring forward the understanding of the energetic patterns and how we play a role in it. So if you're following this truth for truth, healing, or accountability, make sure you like and subscribe and ring that bell. Because justice isn't just legal, it is energetic. And I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and I will see you in the next one.